So first you want a heat-proof bowl. I'm using plastic, you probably really should use metal. And I'm going to add a cup of sugar and 3 tablespoons of cocoa, and make sure I get it all out. And I have to get something to mix this with, and just mix it. And I thought about it later, I should have used a whisk. Try and break up any of them cocoa clumps. And mix, mix, mix. This would have done this a lot faster. Okay. So now, instead of eggs or oil, we use a cup of full-fat mayonnaise. You do not want to use light mayonnaise, low fat, or fat-free, or, like my mother learned the hard way, you will have a chocolate sauce instead of cake. Now, during the Depression, when this recipe was developed, they used mayonnaise since it already has the eggs in it, the oil, and a little bit of vinegar to make it, since they couldn't get eggs and all that. Although it makes me wonder if during the Depression if they could have gotten sugar. But now this recipe's kind of nice because it's almost foolproof. It's probably the best actual from scratch cake I've ever tried. You just want to mix all this together until it basically looks like a brownie batter to me. There we go. Now, I've got a cup of water here at full boil. And want to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I will suggest maybe doing this off the heat, not when the water is actually boiling. I'm just going to stir that to get it dissolved. I think maybe if you did it off the heat when it's not boiling, it would have had more lift to it. Now you want to pour the still boiling hot mixture over this. This is why I said use a heat-proof bowl. And you want to mix this together until the mayonnaise and sugar and all that is dissolved. Again, it would have worked better if I'd used a whisk. But I thought, this is a silicone spatula. It'll work okay in the hot water. And so you get to sit here and watch me mix. Try and get the lumps. And you think boiling water would dissolve mayonnaise better. It is dissolving though. Just stir and stir and stir. And stir and stir and stir. And some more stirring. Try and break up the lumps I'm still seeing. And stir some more. Now go back and forth. And stir. I could actually feel the bottom of the bowl flexing because of the heat from the water. Okay, now I'm getting the flour. This is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And like usual, I'm going to end up doing it in about 3 installments. And I figured I'd just use the spatula. Yeah, that didn't work. Look at that, the flour doesn't want to mix in. See, I think using the hot water is the reason this is a good homemade cake, because the hot water kind of gets rid of that raw flour taste you tend to get. Now I'm going to get a whisk. And I'm still going to get it. Just enjoy the picture. There we go. That works a lot better. Okay, get the flour. Scrape the sides. Now another installment of flour. And whisk, whisk, whisk. Just whisk it in. Whisk and whisk and whisk. Okay, whisk and whisk and whisk it. That's working a lot better than that spatula. Now I have typed out this whole recipe in the description in case anybody wants to make this. This recipe I remember as long as I've been alive. My grandmother made it, my mom's made it, my aunts made it. And you don't want to use mine? You can go online. There's all kinds of mayonnaise cake recipes. And that looks like it's mixed together. Now here I've got a cake pan that I've sprayed with non-stick spray and lined with parchment on the bottom. Just pour this in. And get the spatula back to scrape the bowl. Okay. I have to say this would have been a lot easier to do if I didn't have a tripod in front of me. And just scrape out the batter and try and get as much of it as I can here. Because it sure doesn't seem like there's a lot of it. Last time I made this, I remember it making more. But I followed the recipe. Okay. And I decided to just tip the pan to spread the batter instead of using the spatula. Here we go. Down, down, down. Right. Now into the preheated 350-degree oven for 25 minutes. And I'm just using the regular old toothpick trick to check if it's done. Looks good. And in the center, perfectly clean. Okay, now just let it set on the stove for 15 minutes, and I took it out of the pan. Still got the parchment under it. And I'm going to leave it on here until it's cool so I can frost it. It's still warm on top. And you can feel the heat coming on the bottom too. Now it's cool, I'm going to flip it over so I can remove the parchment. That just peels right off. And now I'm going to put the cooling rack back on it and flip it back over again. Try to flip it. Whoops, part of it fell out. Oh well, I know this counter's clean. I disinfect it regularly. So I'll just stick it back on, no big deal. Let's see if I can get this cutting board slide lid under here. Make it easier later. It worked a lot easier than I thought it would. See how thin it is? That's why I said maybe add the baking soda with the water off the heat, maybe you'll get more rise. But the recipe does have different times to bake it at for different pan sizes, which I did include in the description. I'm getting the frosting now. I'm just using store-bought cream cheese frosting because I like cream cheese and this is my birthday cake. And open it up. Alright. Throw that away and get a knife. Oh, this is a lot softer than I was expecting. Probably because I bought brand name and I'm used to buying store brand. For some reason when I was scraping this out, it reminded me a lot of spackle. It is just so soft. Never had canned frosting this soft before. It kind of looks like I'm spreading caulking or something on the cake, but it is frosting. It is edible. Get another glob there. And yes, I know I'm not getting it all the way to the corners. Again, birthday cake. I'll do what I want. Lob it out there. Lob it out some more. Just denting it all on here. Who doesn't like lots of frosting on a cake? Although I will admit this gets cloying if you eat too big of a piece. Okay. Spread it out. Spread it, spread it, spread it. Just get it to the corners, but I don't feel like going to the edge. Never mind that messy part right there. You're going to shove it in your mouth, who cares? Now to cut a piece. I'll take the side that has the broken corner. And slide it out. And flip the corner. There we go. Back. Now let's see how I did. Edges are crunchy. Okay, and oh, I didn't overbake it. Yay! Thanks for watching.